This video is about a short trip that I did during my Australian and Tasmanian trip in 2022. I took a car and I was going from place to place. I was doing long loops. Altogether, I managed to do around 360 kilometers in the rainforest and in other areas of the country, which was very intense, I would say. Australia is very complex also because nature is very different. We don't have a big experience about rainforest and insects, snakes, all the noises, everything, all the movements around you are overwhelming. Specifically, I want to talk about this one-day trip that I took during my stay in Tasmania. It starts in the middle of this lake, St.Clair. What I did was to ask locals to give me advices about places to go. I couldn't obviously engage myself in very long ones. I didn't have the equipment and I didn't have the experience, and on top, as I said, like, nature is so overwhelming that it was better to take it slowly. So what I did, I went to this lake and asked the guy with the boat to bring me on the other side. Usually people use it to go to the mountains on top of this area. What I wanted to do is just to cross the lake and going back to the starting point where there was a campsite. Altogether is about 20k, 25, depends on the road you take into to coming back. Once you take the boat and you arrive on the other side, the guy is going back by boat and you are all alone. In that moment, I knew that I was the only human being in 30 kilometers range. When you start this kind of approach and these kind of trips, the important part is to take it easy, don't run, don't overdo. You know that you have enough time to go back and also enough time to enjoy nature there. The fascinating part of Tasmania is that there is an impressive diversity. You will pass through very different territories that it's very hard to believe they belong to the same place in the same day. The overall conversation is about how much we know about nature. I grew up in a city, so I can talk for myself. I'm a Western, so I live in Europe. What you learn from these kind of experiences when you are all alone in nature for a long time is that our assumption that we are part of nature is limited to our experience. When you move to the other side of the world, well, the plants have different colors and the animals make different noises, and all around you everything is not what you expect or what your brain is able to elaborate. That confidence goes away and you have to rebuild it. This is why in the first days in the rainforest, when I was alone, I was very cautious about making stops, sitting down, because obviously I need first of all to process it, especially in the first days in the woods. I couldn't see through nature, so my eyes were just able to elaborate what was in front of me in the first, I would say, 2 or 3 meters. And then the more you go into it and the more time you spend, the more your eyes and your brain is able to go a bit further on, to the point that at the end of my trip, I was able to see most of it. But that is not a thing that comes with the experience of traveling alone, but with the experience of being alone in nature.